So, are you able, um, talking to Kathy's higher self, are you able to upgrade Kathy's frequency so she can be at the highest frequency possible during the rest of this session?
Yes,
Could you do that now and tell us what that looks like?
yes. It looks like it looks like total acceptance and a granny square quilt.
And so, is that process done?
Yes.
Does Kathy have any issues in her body on any level that she came here to heal in this lifetime left over from any other lives?
Her body is very healthy. She doesn't always believe that, but it is. There are no
Why doesn't
issues
she always believe that?
because her mm, outside influences, she is susceptible to outside influences.
You mean like others creating upon her?
Yes, or even just suggestions.
Can I ask, can I give you the example of diabetes? She talked to me earlier and mentioned that a doctor said she might be susceptible to diabetes. Is that the type of thing you're talking about?
Yes, exactly that.
So someone
She
said that and then she
And then
kind of
she
takes
takes it
it.
in and she makes it true.
Mm. Is she on track at this point in time to get diabetes because of that?
Yes,
Oh.
she believes it.
What is it in her that needs to change in order to not be that way and take on health issues as a result of things from her environment?
She she has to turn her ears inside out and put her ears on the inside of her head.
Mm. What does that look like for her? How would she go about making that happen?
There's there's a part of her brain that is so much like a sponge. And so insulating that part will help. It's it's a matter of turning off the other voices. The other voices are coming from they're coming from both people with good intentions and systems with not good intentions.
Mm. What is the system voice that does not have good intentions?
That is a chorus of uh, media, uh, uh, written media as well, and traditional Western medicine. And so this chorus of voices is is loud and dominant in her life. And it's the same song over and over again of your body is larger, and so this is the natural progression. But it's not a natural progression, not for her. They they've told her all along that a big body isn't healthy, and she believes it.
Mm. So what is the truth?
Her body's very healthy. Her body functions wonderfully.
Mm.
The truth is that energies from other things around her, not just people, do affect her body and make her think or feel like something is amiss.
So what other, you said energies around her, not just people. What are some of the other energies around her that are affecting her?
Electronic,
Mm.
electric, electricity,
What can she
batteries,
do? Oh, okay. What can she do to protect herself against those things? Anything?
leaving city living will help. Um, Living in a place more surrounded with nature as opposed to other houses and other buildings.
What else can she do?
Turn off the TV.
Mm. Is that going to be a hard one for her?
Yeah, she loves TV.
Mm.
She's always loved TV. She's a sensitive one. It offers escape.
Mm. Where can she find escape if she doesn't find it in TV?
Nature,
Mm.
outside.
Where else? What if it's 10 o'clock at night? It's a little hard sometimes to get out in nature. What else
Yes.
could she be doing?
Meditation.
That's a great escape, isn't it?
Mhm. It's really good for her.
Does she
She
meditate
doesn't think
enough?
she can do it because of her very busy brain.
Mm. Is that true?
No, no, and she just needs to practice. She can break through it.
So would it be good for her to start with guided meditations or something else?
Guided meditations are good, but she must be careful about which she listens to.
Mm. Anything she needs to stay away from? Or what should she look for?
She needs to trust her inner guidance. And if it doesn't sound right, she must change or stop. I want her to feel it though and make that judgment and practice choosing herself and feeling and asking in her body. Ask right at her belly, like right at the bottom of her ribs. That's the spot. That's the spot that knows.
Mm.
Ask there. I want her to do more of that in all parts of her life because her brain
Uh,
is so busy, it's very challenging for her to pause and ask. And so I want her to practice this more.
How will her life change if she becomes a regular meditator and turns off the TV?
Her compassion for herself will deepen immensely. Compassion for herself has always been evasive. She's very good at compassion for others. Very good at that. She's top level. And she's learning, and she's been practicing being compassionate more towards herself. She has a
And
hiccup
okay.
where she thinks that the more compassion she has for herself, the less available, the less she'll want to, the less inclined she'll be to care for the others. She's worried that she'll become more selfish in a negative way. She won't.
So what does it look like for her to be compassionate to herself?
She doesn't need to hurt herself with food. She doesn't need to hurt herself with thoughts. She she becomes so much more gentle and consistently kind. It will
So
soften
she
her in the way that she wants to be.
Mm. Is that similar or the same as self-love? Compassion to herself, self-love?
Those are like sisters.
Mm.
They're not
Does she
exactly the same,
Okay. Does she love
but
herself?
they are. She does.
Okay. It's just the compassion she's needing for herself.
Yes, she has unrealistic expectations of herself.
Mm. So, I'm sorry, there was a question up here I wanted to ask. Is there a time coming up in the future when it would be best for her to move? You said move out of the city.
Yes.
Is that in the next year, next 3 years, next 5 years? When would that be?
24. There's a lot that has to happen first.
In 2024?
24.
Okay. Her and her daughter, or just her?
Well, both of them together, yes.
Okay. It'll be good for her daughter too?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe even better. Maybe more important for her daughter.
Mm, got it. Any
For
specific
Kathy,
state? I'm sorry?
I just for Kathy to be her really most true self. This is really important.
Ah, any specific state or just someplace where there's more nature?
Yes, someplace more nature. She loves California.
Mhm. And so, is there anything else that Kathy can do? You said turning off the TV, spending time in nature, moving to a place where there's more nature that she can do to um, stop all these outside influences, or is that a pretty comprehensive list?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
There's only so much one can do under these conditions. There's
And you
the other
said it's
people,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
the
sorry. Go ahead. I
people
didn't
in
mean.
her house.
Okay.
She cannot control, nor
Mm,
should she, control the other people's consumption of media in the house, but that affects her
mm,
too.
it. And you said that, let me see, media. You said there were people with good intentions and systems with not good intentions, a chorus of media, written media, as well as traditional Western medicine. How is traditional Western medicine negatively affecting her?
Well, the physicians The physicians that she deals with mostly have the notion that a bigger body cannot possibly be healthy on its face.
Mm.
They want her to have a smaller body because they were taught it's not their fault. It's what they were taught that this is what a smaller body is required to have good health. And so she fights them in her mind. She knows it's not true. She knows in her
Mm.
heart it's not true, but she fights them in her mind.
Does she carry any shame or guilt as a result of the way they've made her feel?
Yes, but it's not the physicians. That's the media input that has made
Mm.
her feel so bad about how she looks. And that started because she's been consuming media for so long. It started so early in her life that it's like part of the family culture. It's part of the family culture to be critical of one's physical body.
Is that intentional on the media's part?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Why?
It makes them money.
Mm. So if she turns off the TV, she can stop feeding that beast, so to speak, right?
In a way, yes. That said, the foundation was laid long ago.
Mm.
Long ago. She compares herself so much.
Is there any healing you're able to offer her in that regard?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that looks like and what it will do?
It looks like a purple velvet blanket. It looks like this purple velvet blanket, like a cloak, wraps around her and transforms these negative, hateful thoughts that she has, not just into love. The transformation is multifaceted. It's not just love, it's acceptance, it's a deep understanding of the necessity to have her particular body. She was given that for a reason. This is part of her task and mission. Oh, yeah. So just so you know, the task and the mission is to heal that um, body image issue for her whole maternal line.
Mm. Is that healing done?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Why did we're going to talk about more body issues now. So why did her body have a rash as a reaction to the COVID vaccine and now also to the flu shot for the first time this year? What was the cause of that? What was her body trying to tell her, if anything?
Well, she has DNA that is different, and so the the chemical makeup of those vaccines is different than what she's experienced before, and because she's got this different DNA, it was just conflicting. It was just conflicting. Somebody else needs to know about these rashes, though. It wasn't just about her. It was for somebody else.
Mm,
Somebody else didn't recognize and didn't make the correlation that the shots caused the rash. But now they know because she talked about it.
mm.
I give her things that are difficult sometimes, and then she helps others with that information that she received by walking through that.
So is she okay to get the booster, or is there some kind of healing you can give her, or something that her body needs to do in order to prepare itself for the next COVID, the booster shot?
I have a healing for her.
Okay. Could you tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, an orange cloud envelops her. She is in the middle of an orange cloud. This is helping her DNA to switch and accommodate these new things.
So like a DNA upgrade?
Yes.
Are there any other DNA upgrades that would benefit her body right now or for her future that you could give her now?
Yes.
And what would that be for?
The pink one, there's a pink cloud for her. This one helps her blood. Her blood is upgraded. It moves smoothly and without hesitation. The blood is now enriched.
What would have happened without that upgrade? How would that have affected her?
Her blood would thicken
I'm sorry?
and um, her blood would thicken
Uh,
and cause clots
why was it going to thicken?
because she believed that it would.
Mm.
She
She was
sees what happens with her
okay.
parents and assumes it will happen to her.
Uh, she's pretty tight and close with her parents. Is it too close to the point where it's affecting her negatively?
Well, yes. Yes and no. It's not too close. It's wonderfully close. It's the part where she tries to heal them by taking them into her own body.
Ah,
But she doesn't do the second part of then healing
okay.
it in her body and releasing it. I need her to learn how to do this.
Can you teach her now? Tell us what that
Yes.
looks like.
Yes, I can. That's the golden cloud. It's a golden cloud surrounding her, teaching her and showing her how to cast it off, give it to the earth. She's learning now that she cannot heal them any other way. Take it out of them, but then do not keep it in you. Do not store it. Do not store it in you,
Where is she storing it?
in her belly.
Mm. Is there any there now?
Oh yes, lots.
Can you take it out?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that looks like?
Pulling the plug in the bathtub and just draining out. Gently draining. She's been holding a lot for a long time. Okay, the tub is emptied.
And so are you able to put any sort of until she masters or has she mastered already being able to not know how to being able to not take this on? And if not, if she hasn't mastered that yet with the golden cloud, are you able to put some sort of, I guess, even if it's temporary, like a shield around that area so that it doesn't allow any of that to come in and stay and make its home there?
Yes. Yes. We'll put a shield.
Okay. Could you tell us what that? Okay.
We're putting a shield and it will stay there until she masters it.
Okay. Has her taking on her parents' health issues helped them at all, and is that why she did it?
No, it doesn't help them, but she thinks it does.
Oh, okay. Where did she get that idea?
She came in with it. It's part of her plan. It was something though
Mm.
from another time that didn't get taken care of, so it was part of her to-do list that she was born with.
Who gave her that to-do list?
God.
Mm. Because she mentioned she didn't really have a part at all in planning her lives, or the life that we were going to be looking at going into. Is that the
Mhm.
case for all of the lives that she's lived? She doesn't play a part in planning?
Not all. Not all of them, no, but some. There's some that she did do planning. There's some where she made requests that were granted.
Mm. Do most
Remember too that
souls? I'm sorry.
she comes back because it's also not just her. It's not
Okay.
just her. She comes back because there's others on the team that need her to be there in that role.
Uh, so maybe someone else planned they need this or
Mm,
that or this or that, and she just happens to be
yes,
part of that plan, so it's assigned to her.
exactly.
Mm.
So it's part of the family plan, part of the team's plan.
Okay. Do most souls do it that way, or do most souls have a part in planning their lives?
It just depends on the soul.
Okay,
They're all there's no one way.
got it. So if you do a body scan on her, which she requested, is she in need of any healing on a physical level in her body anywhere?
The pelvis.
Anything else?
No, everything else looks good. The pelvis
So
holds
what's
so
going
much
on with the
energy.
pelvis? Oh, okay.
It's just the collection spot of all of her stuff, the people who she's collected, the ones she thinks she's helping. It's, it's all just hanging out right there. And because there's that bowl of pelvis and it just collects and collects. It's pushing out. It's like pushing on her spine and it's pushing out the front and it's pushing out the sides too.
Are you able to bring healing to that now and kind of like you did earlier, just almost like letting the air out of the balloon?
Hmm. Yes.
Can you tell us, show it, tell us what that looks like?
This is a more complicated situation down here. I'm bringing in the team to assist. We are all holding her there. We are pouring love and golden light into her pelvis. Please tell her it's not her fault.
Mm.
Okay. It's clear.
Whose fault was it?
No one's. There's no fault. None at all.
So who's on the team that you brought in to assist with that healing?
Her grandmothers. Her grandmothers, because because they chose this one. We chose this one to be the strong one to heal the family things. So the grandmothers needed to come because part of this, what she holds, is theirs.
Mm. So did they get healing through that too?
Yes.
What other family things did Kathy come here or get chosen to come here to heal? Anything else?
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of things.
Like, what are two more
She's
things?
she it there's a long history of secret keeping in her family on both her mother's side and her father's side. People didn't tell each other the whole truth. They kept secrets from themselves as well. It is permission that there be no secrets. Appropriate full disclosure, primarily to herself.
What's another thing that her family chose her to come here to heal?
The body image issues,
Mm.
the communication issues. Those are really those are really the primary things right there, and frankly they're enormous. And because they're
How
enormous, there's subsets underneath of them,
Mhm.
underneath each one, those main topics. And so when I said there's a lot of things, that's what I meant. There's like these three big things, but then there's all the
Mm.
things that go along with each of them.
Can we touch on the
She's doing
communication issue? I'm sorry, go ahead.
mhm. She's doing good. She really is.
Well, what about the communication issue? What can she do to help heal the communication issues?
She needs to continue to speak the truth and not the key for her is to not let the emotional responses and energetic reactions of the others to influence her speech or her willingness to speak.
Kind of speak the truth in love and then let it fall, let the chips fall as they may.
Yes. And it's not that we want her to disregard their feelings or their reactions. It's not that. We just want those reactions to not influence how she
Mm.
proceeds. Not wanting to hurt people, not wanting people to be angry with her or upset with her influences what she says and how she says it.
Is there anything in her life right now that she's been holding back and not communicating that she should be communicating? And if so, what is that and to whom?
It would be good for her to express her gratitude to her parents.
Mm.
There is a very sticky emotional place there. And because there's a lot of pain and trauma with communication and being her communication being rejected or devalued, it makes it very, it makes her hesitant and shy and thereby unwilling. It's a fear of rejection.
Mm. So expressing her gratitude to her parents.
Yes.
So where is that rejection being held in her body? And are you able to remove it from her and send it to Creator's light and replace it instead with Creator's definition of acceptance?
Yes.
Can you tell
It's
us
in the
what that
middle of
looked
her
like?
chest. Yeah, it's right in her chest. It's an old wound. I think she came in with it.
Mm.
I'm going to close that wound. All right, it's closed.
And are you able to download in its place Creator's definition of acceptance?
Yes.
What does that look like?
A bouquet of peonies, pink ones. I'm going to put it right where the scar is. Okay. She's going to pick that up. It's
How will it
integrating now.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
How will her life be different now without that trapped emotion of rejection in her?
More authentic expression, communicating and receiving communication into the solar plexus, where it is synthesized into heartfelt and honest, loving words. She'll receive it here. It will be transformed and then come out kinder and gentler, even to herself.
It's kind of going back to that self-compassion, talking more compassionately to herself.
Yes. And compassionately knowing her limitations as things change with her parents and her ability to care for them. Mm.
Does Kathy's body want her to reduce her weight or not?
Yes and no. These,
Can you explain?
her body functions better when it's bigger. It just does. And by functioning better, I'm talking about the internal organs, I'm talking about the systems that keep the body alive and running, like her to be in a bigger body, not as big as it is right now. Smaller than now. But the numbers that the physicians suggest are not right for her. They are not what's required for this body.
So what would you recommend that she do in order to get to the weight her body wants to be at?
Well, it goes back to the part of holding the energy of the others. And so because she's been trying to heal her parents in herself. She's holding, 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 and that's making her body bigger. And so as she learns to and practices discharging that energy and releasing it from her physical being, then her physical being doesn't have to be as big. There's less to hold.
Okay. So it's not necessarily a food or an eating issue. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, that's not it. It's an energy thing. Her body receives food well, and it digests food well. It extracts nutrition well.
Okay. If we were to ask the body now, whether it's weight or anything else, but if we ask the question of the body, what do you most want from me, from Kathy? What would her body say?
Acceptance.
Mm. She's not giving her body acceptance.
No, she doesn't. Poor thing. She got that from her mother.
How how would her body react if she gave it unconditional acceptance?
Well, her back pain would be better. Those lower spine issues would not be so bothersome. Already healed her blood issues. Part of that lack of acceptance is it's two sides of a coin of believing that she would get her parents' diseases and the acceptance thereof. Or uh, but we did that. We worked on her blood. We cleared her blood, so she's okay in that department. She will feel lighter and more energetic. She will feel strong and capable of performing all the tasks required of her.
Well, what is the root cause of the allergies that she's had in her life starting at a young age? And is there any significance to the one being, or to the two being elm trees and poppy trees?
Well, the allergies came very early as like a rejection of self.
Mm.
It's a rejection. It was the early rejection of the abilities to see and feel and heal others. They brought that to her when she was 8. The guides brought it to her
Oh, okay.
when she was 8, and it was scary. It scared her, and so she kind of shut it down.
She shut what down?
The abilities, the
Uh,
sensitivities, the second sight.
They didn't bring the allergies. They brought the sensitivities.
No, the allergies came because she rejected the sensitivities.
Okay.
And so the rejection caused sort of a pressure type of situation to build.
But why specifically the main ones being elm and poppy seeds? Why those? Why not dogs or cats or anything? Grass.
Well, she needs the dogs and the cats. The animal companions are so important to her life. And so she needs them, and she needs other nature items. She needs grass. She needs dirt. She needs dust and mold and all those other things that people get allergic to. Like that's an important part of her earthy human self. Those trees are everywhere, and it's a reminder for her that there's there's necessary pain in life, and the necessary part of these allergies was to bring her to this place of knowledge of herself and of her body and of her sensitivities. And so because of her high reactivity, particularly to the poppy seeds, it gave her unwillingly a another sensitivity, and it made her become very conscious and conscientious about what goes in her mouth. See, when she was younger, she didn't have the poppy seeds. That came later. When she was younger, when she was a younger girl, she was having reactions to dyes in food and the colorings, but she didn't know it yet until something big happened. And that gave her a strong reaction, and it made her and her family be more thoughtful about these things.
Is there anything you can do now to heal that underlying issue and the allergic reaction?
Mm. Yes, yes.
Can you tell us what that looks like?
It looks like a field of tulips, and it looks like her rolling through the field of tulips. That's cute. That's cute. And just by that image, she is releasing these things from her body. She's gained the knowledge she needed to gain from having those reactions. She doesn't need to have them anymore because she's already got everything out of it that she needed to get.
So they're gone now?
Yes.
What's the root cause of the back pain?
That's also distrust.
Mm. Distrust in what?
The master plan.
Did she have a
She
say
does.
in planning this life?
Yes,
Then why does she distrust it?
because she's stubborn. She's a stubborn gal, but we made her that way. We wanted it to be that way. The stubbornness serves her. The skepticism serves her. The skepticism allows her to, again, be her most as human as she can.
Mm.
This humanness is so important for her. Not just for her, it's important for all of us. She she helps the world with her humanness. People observe her and then give themselves permission.
So what is she distrusting about the master plan that's causing the back problems?
She fears the future. She fears the future. She fears she fears homelessness. She fears indigence. She deeply fears being unable to financially provide for her child. She deeply fears not having enough money. Fear of lack of financial support has been with her for quite a long time, and is also one of her life missions.
Mm. To overcome it?
Yes, eventually. It's working with it,
Mm. How can she work with it?
trusting. Huh.
Who does she not trust? Anyone? Does she trust the universe? Does she trust God?
She she does and she doesn't. She trusts the universe. She trusts God, and then she has her very strong moments of not trusting,
Mm.
and then she brings herself back, and then it goes back and forth for her. Media influences also, and her comparing stuff uh, plays a big role in this.
Mm. So would it benefit her to have you download Creator's definition of abundance into her?
Yes,
Could you do
yes, it
that now
would.
and tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, filling her body with pink light. The upper part of her body fills with the light very easily. It welcomes that. It's the lower part, the from her middle down, that is often resistant. It takes a while. She's got that block right around her belly button that makes it difficult for the lights and energies to get to her lower half. It's that pelvic block.
Mm.
It, we cleared that, but it takes a little bit to integrate. She's had that block for so long. If I remove it too quickly, it's gonna just completely throw her off.
Uh, can you heal it after this session? Just like
Yes, and this
over the next X number of days or weeks, or how long will that take?
it will take a couple of weeks. It's helping now. The pink light is making its way down and it's helping now.
Okay.
Okay. Creator's definition of abundance has filled her whole body now.
Mm. Would it also benefit her to have you download the program of, I know what it feels like to be abundant?
Mm. Yes, that would help.
Could you do that now and tell us what that looks like?
Yes. That looks like a golden cloak wrapped around her, like the queen that she is.
Mhm.
And it feels like comfort and safety for her. Okay, she's got it.
Um, Her right knee also has a numb spot. What can you do to heal that for her?
That's going to resolve as the pelvis continues to drain and heal.
Mm.
She steps first with the right foot, and she has been unable to. It's another good thing for her. It's hard for her to see that because it's makes her feel like she can't do things, makes her feel like she can't take care of her family. But she can. Just want her to switch legs. Lead with the left now. She's been leading with the right for so long. This will help her to be at that balance place of the pendulum that feels like the rest of heaven. She can have that rest here. And leading with the left side is how she's going to get there.
Mm.
On a physical level, it's challenging her brain, and this is good.
What's the root cause of the restless leg syndrome? Is there a physical root cause? Is there anything you can do to heal that?
So it's a couple of different things. Partly it's her DNA that we um, realigned earlier. It's partly the congestion and blockage of the pelvis. and it's partly her mother's restless legs that she's taken into her.
Mm. So are you able to either send it to Creator's Light or give it back to her mother, or what's the best way to handle that?
Yeah, we're
The
gonna send
part
that to Creator's Light because her mother
yeah.
doesn't need it, so she has plenty of her own. So we're gonna send it to Creator's Light, and also we're gonna know that as the pelvis stuff resolves, that the restless legs will also resolve. It was also influenced by the blood, which
Oh, okay.
mhm.
Could you tell us what that looks like or when you're done sending that to Creator's Light?
It left on a shooting star, and it will um, it will be part of the integration. It's not going to happen right today. It's not going to go away today, but it's part of the integration that's going to happen over the couple of weeks now as the pelvis drains and as the pink and gold light continue to do their work and the blood continues to normalize.
Okay. Are there any chakras of hers that, if they were balanced, would help her help her in a positive way?
Her chakra are all just fine. They're just fine. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
They're working beautifully.
Okay.
Her energy is so strong and so deeply rooted in earth energy. She gets so much um, from the earth itself. So what looks like unbalanced energy centers are the other issues. So the resistance, the rejection, and the holding of all of that in the pelvis looks like and acts like lower chakra issues. But those are fine. Those are just fine. They're fine.
Okay. Okay. She feels like she has lots of great ideas, but actually putting her ideas into motion is difficult for her. Why is that? Like, she gave me the example of putting the laundry away or doing tasks, and she puts them off until the last minute. Why does she do this to herself? Is there a physical root cause to this issue that she calls ADD or attention deficit disorder?
Yeah, that's part of it. And the other part is that DNA stuff that we worked on earlier too. There's this she's not altogether human. And so that really, expecting human things of a not necessarily human person is makes people think they got something wrong with them. So
Mm,
there's nothing amiss. There's nothing wrong per se. It's it's the energy influences of the other humans in her house. It's those other electrical influences that we were talking about earlier that she's very sensitive to. And since she's been home so much differently than she had been for so long, she's feeling these influences. She's feeling the other people. She's feeling um, their restlessness and their brain waves, and it feels disruptive and it feels like an inability to concentrate and focus. And it's just, yes, it's partly her, but it's everybody else.
Mm,
And so going back to the part where she will be most healthy and most happy in a more rural setting,
mm,
less density of humans will be helpful for what she feels like, uh, the scattered feeling, the difficulty concentrating and completing tasks. It's partly, it's hugely partly, uh, it's the setting. It is the setting of where she lives.
mm. Are there any changes? You said in about 2024 she's supposed to move, but what kind of changes can she make in her setting now, even if little ones, that would benefit her?
Well, acceptance will be very helpful. She fantasizes often about moving, about leaving, about being someplace else physically. And so accepting that that is going to come later, that she will not be rescued from these hard feelings and difficult times by moving.
Mm,
Moving away is not going to spare her any difficulty or challenge. The challenges are here and they're going to come and they must. And then when these tasks are completed, then there will be space for her to move.
so acceptance. Anything else that she can do to make her setting now more beneficial to her?
The regular meditation practice and the regular practice of casting off others' energy will help the setting not be so
Mm,
severe feeling.
okay.
Discharging of energy is so important for her.
Does she shield herself daily?
No.
Does she need to?
Yes. Can't do it. I keep telling her.
Should I share with her an easy way to do that once we're done?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Tell her also when you do, tell her to like write it down somewhere, like a
Mm,
visual reminder to do that. Those visual reminders are very helpful to her.
okay.
She takes in so much through her eyes.
Um, what was the reason she was unable to leave her parents after becoming a young adult and trying it, but then just feeling the need to be back home with them twice? And then after she got divorced, is there something there that was in need of healing, or was she just not meant to be away from them? Was that
Not
part of a
meant to be
contract, maybe?
away. It's a karmic contract. She's not meant to,
Okay.
wasn't meant to be away from them.
Okay.
We decided
So,
that
Go ahead.
they needed to be together. She chose part of that in this one. She chose that.
Oh, okay. So when she was talking to me about her ex-husband, she started to feel nauseous. Is there still some unhealed trauma there that caused that, or what caused her to be nauseous?
Yes, there's a lot of unhealed trauma.
Mm,
There's a lot. There are things that she has not spoken aloud, things that happened that were very painful and changed her. Things changed her. She has a lot of guilt. She feels guilty over her part, the part that she played in the abuse that she perpetrated herself. There's a there's regret and guilt that she let others believe that it was all him and that
mm.
she had not
That she had
participated,
no role. Oh,
perpetrated.
okay. Okay. Mm. Anything else? What else is she holding on to from that relationship?
It's a very old relationship. It's like he has energetic cords still attached to her. I'm gonna cut those off right now
I was going to ask that. Can
and just remove those.
you shield her from him being able to put any more on her?
Yes. Okay. The armaments are in place.
So, what did she want to learn by incarnating with him?
There was karma to complete.
Oh, okay.
This was the end of a karmic cycle for her. And lessons were learned about choosing herself.
Mm. So, guilt. You said guilt. There was guilty over her part. She has a lot of guilt from that
Mm,
relationship. Are you
mm,
able to pull that guilt by the root, send it to Creator's light, and replace it instead with Creator's unconditional love?
yes.
Could you do that now and tell us what that looks like?
Just grab, yes, and or just grabbing it at the stalk, like right at the base, and pulling it straight out. Putting it on the shooting star. Okay.
And you replaced it with Creator's unconditional love?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then you said regret. Can you do the same thing for regret?
Yes. Okay, it's done.
Mm. Is there anything else from her previous marriage to him in her that needs to be healed?
One more thing. Just one more. Sending that to Creator's light. Refilled with Creator's love.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you for that. So, I had questions about the chakras, but you already did. Would it benefit her to have you set a new intention for any of her cells? Of course, in a very positive way that might benefit her in her life.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. What would that be?
To speak and act. Let every word and every action of hers be of the greatest compassion and kindness for herself first, and then to all else.
Do you set that intention in her cells?
Yes.
Nice.
That's all there is for her. That's all she needs.
So no other intentions that would be good for her right now to program into her cells?
Everything else will follow. She just starts there. Not just start, just be there. It's not a start, it's the place of being.
Are there any
Like,
cellular I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, like the Jesus, like the Christ, the compassion and the kindness first. Everything else will come from just that.
She can be really sensitive to and she when we were off camera, she gave me an example of her neighbor died and these people came out and just this woman came out and then this other guy came out and they just started screaming at her and it literally shook her to the core for a day and a half and how she's so sensitive and picking up other people, how they treat her or their emotions. So how what kind of shield or protection or balance can be there to help with that while she also practices this kindness and compassion?
Hmm. As she meditates more and discharges energy more, the resistance to the other people, the energies of others will be less and less. And so what that means is the the angry projections of others, like that what you said part, will pass
Mhm.
right through her instead of land and stick.
Ah,
And so they landed and stuck.
mm. And then she had to process it through her body, right?
Indeed. She had to, and I'm really glad she did. It was important that she did that. It was really good that she did that. She
Mm.
just let it be, and that was the best thing.
That's an example of self-love and compassion, isn't it?
It is, it really is.
Are there any cellular memories that would help in her healing that she's ready to release now? And if so, what would those cellular memories be? And are you able to release them?
There are cellular memories of physical trauma of varying origins. The physical trauma of birth alone, of the medicines and illnesses that she had as a very small child. There's there's the accumulation of the traumas of physical illness and injury, and then there's the physical traumas of violence perpetrated against her
Mm. By her ex-husband?
and others.
Okay. So are you
So,
able to pull all those and heal them now and instead infuse her cells with joy and light?
oh, yes.
To do that and tell us
Mhm.
what that looks like?
As all of these traumas are removed individually, it leaves her looking like Swiss cheese. And so she is holy, and I'm going to fill those holes with white and golden light.
Mm.
Okay.
Any other cellular memories, or did we get it?
I think we got them all. Mhm.
What would
Got them all.
be what would be a new program, if any, that you could give her cells now that would benefit her most?
Well, the joy program was really important.
Okay.
That was a big step right there.
Okay. Any other programs that her cells are thirsty for?
Her cells need to believe as she needs to believe as well, but the cells need to believe that she really can accomplish the tasks in front,
Mm.
as daunting as they seem. She often overwhelms herself with projections of the future. She needs to believe that she has everything she needs to do, everything she needs to do.
Mm. She talked when she was in between lives um, about getting tools for the next life.
Mm.
Does she have all the tools she needs? Or is she missing some?
No, she has them. She has them. She just would, if she would look at them, it would be helpful.
Mhm.
She's been, that's part of the rejection stuff. So those, when she was 8 and we showed her the gifts and she said no, well, those are the tools I'm talking about
Mm.
that she was unwilling to look at. She's been much more willing of late, but the tools weren't the environment that she was in, especially with the ex-husband, were not conducive to her using her tools, her full set of tools. Had she used them, there would have been more rejection and more violence from the husband.
Mm. So, what can she do to get those tools back that you tried to give her when she was 8? Are you able to download them into her now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, nice. Can you do that now and tell us what that looks like?
Yes. Remember I said that she needs to turn her ears to the inside.
Hmm.
That's a lot. That's part of it. She's she can do it. She has the tools. She has them now. They are uncovered.
Is it part of her contract to care for her parents at the last stage of their life?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell me about
Care for
that.
them. Care for them, yes, with help. She cannot and she should not do it alone. And by help, I mean professionals. When that time comes that she needs that level of help, she will know to ask. She will know to ask. She will know her limitations. She will also know the importance of having others there so that she can be emotional with them, her parents, as they depart their bodies.
Mm. Is there things she needs to say to them? Needs slash wants to say to them so she doesn't regret it after they're gone?
Oh, yes.
Mm.
I believe I want her to write letters, put pen on paper, This level of communication will be easier for them to receive.
Mm. Part of that would be the gratitude too, right? Telling him how grateful she is.
Yes.
And I'm assuming this will be healing for all of them, right?
All of them, all of them across many timelines.
Mm. What can she do to be more in the present moment? You mentioned that she fears a lot about the future. What can she do to be more in the present moment so she doesn't fear so much about the future?
The meditation and discharge of others' energy. There's so much of other people's stuff, it gets so convoluted.
Mm.
As she discharges others' energy and even discharges her own energy, it will make for more space.
Okay. Want to talk for a little bit about her daughter having paranoid delusions and hearing voices. First, are there any wayward dark energies, dark entities, or demons affecting her daughter?
Yes.
Which of those?
Waywards. She is a
Are you
very
able?
bright, shiny light. She is a
Okay.
shiny, shiny, bright light. She unwittingly calls them.
Mm. Are you able to send them to Creator's light? Even if you have to work with her higher self now, send them to Creator's light and put a shield around her so that until she learns how to shield herself, that shield will stay in place so they can't come back.
Yes,
Could you tell us what that looks like?
a bank vault. Looks like a bank vault.
Okay.
That will keep them away. And she can open the door when she's ready to. It opens from the inside. She knows how to open the door when she's ready. I've asked them to please leave her be, go on home. There is some soul contract for her that she is allowing this to happen, and she believes that it is of service to allow them to pass through. And it is. It is service.
Kind of a destructive service though, isn't it?
It is. It's hurting her. I'm asking them to refine her process so that she can be helpful to her greatest good. The daughter will learn how to not control. It's not about control. That's not the right word. Her daughter will learn how to manage and choose how and when she wants to engage and be helpful and be of service. And that will help her not hurt herself. This will take time. It's part of the child's soul contract to do this. Her mother's job is to let her be and let her learn.
Mm. Is that hard for Kathy?
Oh, yes. She empathizes so deeply. It's painful for her, like literally painful for her.
Is mental illness a thing that is affecting her daughter also? Or was it just the waywards?
The mental illness is not related to that. It's the what she the she has the funny brain and DNA like her mother does. And so, again, that part of expecting human behavior from not altogether humans.
Mm,
Um, so it's not really, no, it's not really mental illness. No, not in the sense of the the definitions that are what are accepted in the culture.
okay. But the daughter's shielded and protected until she
Yes,
learns
she
how to
is.
protect herself. Okay.
She is.
Is there any other healing that you're able to do for her daughter now, working with her daughter's higher self if need be? And if yes, what is that healing that might benefit her daughter the most?
Her daughter has subconsciously observed her mother trying to relieve her parents' physical illnesses by taking them into her own body, and so she has begun to do that as well. And so she has accumulated a lot of her mother's beliefs in her pelvis as well.
Mm, are
Kathy's
you able?
healing
Sorry.
will heal the child.
Ah, okay. And is her daughter someone she can actually share these things openly with and talk about these types of things with? And hey, I got this healing, and this is what it is, and I heard that it's affecting you too. You're kind of copying me. Or is that something that's her daughter's not ready for yet?
And she's ready.
Okay.
She's ready and she's willing. Her daughter is on a much faster timeline than she is.
Mm.
And so, what her daughter is doing at this stage of her development, her mother was twice that age.
What is it in Kathy that needs to be healed that causes her to cry when she mentions the fact that her dad has never told her that he loves her, even though she knows he loves her?
Her mother told her all the time. And so she equated the words and the outward expression with the true feeling.
Mm.
And so it is her child self who is wondering why he cannot say the words. Her adult self, her grown self, her mature, compassionate self knows. She knows. It's the child part that does not understand.
What can you do now to heal that child part that hurts from that?
Go to that timeline.
Oh, tell us what that healing looks like in that timeline, please.
There is 4-year-old Kathy right there. And I am telling her that no matter what he says or does, these are the true feelings he has for you. She doesn't quite understand that because she's very small, but she's going to try.
Can you take that love that her dad has for her, punch it down into a red ruby, and place it in her heart as a reminder?
Oh, yes. Okay. Now she can grow up.
Hmm.
She can grow up knowing those things. This is great.
I think I'd like to be a higher self now because this sounds really fun what you get to do. Are you able to do a baby in the womb healing for Kathy right now? And what I mean by that is you mentioned earlier that it was traumatic for her just being
Mhm.
born. Um, are you able to do that baby in the womb healing and maybe even wrap it in like a cocoon of light and protection and comfort and love so that when it comes out of the womb, it's still encased in that so that it follows her until it no longer needs it like a caterpillar and then it just breaks out of the cocoon. Can you do that for her?
Yeah. Yes, I just did it as you were saying, as you were describing it.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
how will that help her?
It will help her. It will help her to bring lightness to her life. She's a she's a dense and heavy person. Of course she is. She needs we needed her to be this way. Lightness will help. Lightness helps the light travel further. Lightness lightness brings the ability for her to act and feel how she really wants to feel. Loving, kind, and generous. She is already those things, but she confuses and conflates her dense energy, which is very ancient, to she equates it to heaviness and seriousness. And so bringing the more lighter energies in will feel weird for her at first. It will feel weird
Mhm.
and foreign and like not herself, but it really is. It's completely herself. She might try to reject it because it feels so different.
Is it more of like a childlike energy?
Yes,
Playful?
playful. Yes. Hmm.
Nice. Are there any trapped emotions in her that she's not ready to deal with and heal in this moment?
Not really,
Okay.
really.
Are you able to surround Kathy with a giant bubble of peace, light, patience, gentleness, and unconditional love as she goes through this time in life that's really difficult for her and watching her parents become less and less capable of doing things for themselves and go down the path towards transitioning off the earth plane so that she can be comforted from the energies in that bubble and help her to have more grace and peace about the whole process?
Mm, yes.
Could you do that for her now, please?
Yes. Done. It's an iridescent rainbow bubble.
Mhm.
She can see through it. It moves easily with her.
Can you also do the same thing for her parents as they're going through this transition to bring them peace and comfort through this whole process?
Yes. Her father's bubble is purple, and her mother's bubble is white.
Mhm. Would it benefit her to have you download Creator's definition of patience into her now? Would she benefit from that?
Yes, very much.
Could you do that now and tell us what that looks like?
Yes. I'm surrounding her heart with pink light, encasing it and surrounding it. Her lungs, too. Patience is locked in,
Mm.
downloaded.
Would it also benefit her to have you download the program of I know what it feels like to be patient in my everyday life and tell us what that looks like?
Yes. It looks like putting on a cardigan sweater that's heavy and comforting. There's comfort in the feeling of patience.
Mhm. And what about the program of I know how to be patient in my everyday life? Would that be a good program for her?
Yes.
Okay, could you tell us what that looks like?
It looks like a dark blue book. Okay.
Mm. Would it benefit her to have you download Creator's definition of gentleness into her now?
Yes.
Could you do that and tell us what that looks like?
Yes, it also looks like a cardigan. It's a different colored cardigan.
And what about downloading the program of I know what it feels like to be gentle to myself and to others on a daily basis?
Yes.
Just do that now, please, and tell us what that looks like.
It is downloaded. It is in. It is spreading through. Looks like very soft water.
And what about the program of I know how to be gentle to myself and others? Would that benefit her?
Yes,
Could she do that and tell us what that looks like?
yes. It is downloaded and it looks like two butterflies, two orange butterflies.
Do you have any other messages for her, open ended, before we end this session?
We are with you. You are never alone. You do a good job of asking for our help. Keep asking. Always ask.
And I'm so sorry, I forgot there was one more question. She added at the end. She has dreams that feel like almost like it's a part-time job and a recurring one where there's a lot of water where she goes there and it's almost always an element of needing to move from a place, but she can't get all the stuff together and has to leave and leave some of the stuff behind. Is there a particular meaning to that dream? Is it taking place on Earth?
No, it's not taking place on Earth. And
Okay.
that's what the moving part feels like for her. It's the imagery of them needing to move and pack and things and not enough time is the time gap and the space gap between the earth life and this the other place that's not earth. Well, let's see if I can tell you what that place is called. I can't say my this the I can't say the word. It starts
Okay.
with what looks like an A,
Okay.
but that's not a language I can um, say or
Okay.
speak. This
So is that her like home planet or a place that she likes to go to, or why that planet?
It's a place she likes to go to. It's not the home planet, but it feels like home to her. Uh, there's there's comfort for her there in the water and the rocks. Her home planet doesn't look like that.
Hmm. She doesn't consider Earth to be her home planet.
No,
What planet does she consider home?
it's again, it's like a word that I cannot make with this mouth.
Oh, okay.
It's, it is not in the solar system that the Earth is in.
Okay.
It is it is galaxies away.
Why does she like that place?
The energies there, the vibration is smoother, smoother for her there. It doesn't feel so mm, prickery or painful for her there. Though there are
I
challenges, the energy of that water and those rocks is soothing to her physical body and to her energy body. There's something about the mineral makeup of those rocks that works with her DNA. There's something of the chemical makeup of that water that also feels soothing.
So she goes there in her dreams?
She goes there in her dreams. It's a counterbalance to the roughness, the what she feels as roughness and irritation of the earth body.
Mm. It's almost like going to a spa while she's sleeping?
Yeah, yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. And it would be great if she could enjoy it more.
She can go there in her meditation, can't she?
She can.
Would that be good for her to do?
Yes, it would be a good experiment for her. She can learn some contrast by going in her choosing to go in her meditation, consciously choosing versus the unconscious choosing that she does in her sleep.
Any other messages you want to give her before we end this session?
We love you. No, that's
If
enough for
she
today. This is all she can integrate for now.
Yeah, and if she,
This
well,
is a lot.
if she takes all the information that she got in this session today from you and incorporates it and integrates it into her life, how will her life be different now compared to what it would have been like had she not done this?
She won't recognize herself.
Mm,
She will say, "Who is this person?" In a good way. In a good, happy way.
nice. Are we good to end the session now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. She smiles. Oh, who are you waving to?
Bye.
You waving to your higher self?
Yes. I was waving to you too.
Oh,
Oh.
we were looking up, so I wasn't sure.
Oh.
She's back.
I'm back. Wow.
So, What happened? What do you
4:45. Holy
Right.
cow.
I knew you were gonna be like, "Well, because this was a long one. We did a long one."
Wow.
But your higher self. I didn't ask because we just asked too many questions already. But I mean, I can just tell you, like, you're a pretty old soul. Your higher
Yeah.
self was incredibly wise, to the point, no sense of humor.
Oh.
You'll see when you
Oh
watch
my
the
gosh.
recording. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
yep, it's one of those ancient ones that really just doesn't understand humor. Because at one point I said, "Oh, I think I want to be a higher self. This is fun." Nothing. Silence. I was like, "Okay, awkward."
Oh my God. Hilarious.
But I get
Oh, that
that,
is
especially with the older higher selves. Now, when there's more like guide involvement, there's some playful banter that can happen, right? Because
sure.
guides, a lot of them were in a human body and had personas, and some of them still have like kind of personalities, right? But a higher self is just flat, like flat
Right.
soda, right? They just tell it like it is, like they don't really get humor.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh my
Like,
gosh. I cannot believe I
okay.
lived in one position like that for so long. Usually my back doesn't let me. Um, can you hear me okay? Usually
Yeah.
my back doesn't let me stay flat on my back like that for an extended period of time. So
Well, you got a lot of healing. Do you remember anything from your session?
I have sort of like a picture in my mind of a man. Um, I can see like these like pool and rocks kind of formation. That looks like what my dreams look like.
Okay. So you remember that. Okay.
Um, did we do something with baby me? Okay.
We did a healing.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a red ruby in your heart now.
Oh, nice.
Wait,
Okay.
the red ruby was about your dad. Sorry, that was about your
Okay.
dad. The
Okay.
love that he does
Yeah.
have for you that was never expressed, I asked it to be punched down, put into a little red ruby, and inserted into your heart.
Oh,
So you got
well,
that.
that's very nice.
And then the baby in the womb healing was putting a bubble around you. I don't remember
Mm,
my exact words, but it was a bubble of comfort and love and all of that because the birthing process was hard for you. And
okay.
so it was like in the womb and then as you were coming out and it stayed there until until you shut it like a caterpillar breaking out of the cocoon. Till you
Wow.
didn't need it anymore. Yeah.
Cool.
Right. Okay,
That's really
so
cool.
if you take all the information from the session and incorporate it into your life, how will your life be different compared to what it would have been like had you not done the session? She won't recognize herself. She will say, "Who is this person?" in a good way, in a good way, a happy way.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's lovely. That's
Right?
lovely.
So you were primarily, I could tell, and I was just verifying, you're primarily a trance channeler. Like your conscious mind was pretty much gone. And I could tell by the tone of your higher self, as soon as your higher self come in, it thanked me for asking for
Oh,
permission
wow.
to
Wow.
speak to it. And I was like, oh,
Does that happen
see?
much?
It's happened a couple times with really ancient souls, like really old
Okay.
souls, very wise. And well, actually, I shouldn't say that. The one was not, she was not a trance channeler. She was conscious, but it was the same serious old higher self tone. So I guess
Hmm.
I made the assumption that you weren't there. I don't know. It was just so it was a night and day difference, right? Okay, so let me tell you.
Wow.
Does upgrade her frequency. Okay, does this person have any issues in their body on any level they came to heal in this lifetime, left over from other lives? Her body's very healthy. She does not always believe that, but it is. There are not issues. Why does she not believe that? Because of outside influences. She is susceptible to outside influences. Do you mean like others creating upon her? Yes, even just suggestions. I said like diabetes. Yes, exactly that. Someone said that and she takes it. Yes, and she makes it true. Is she on track to get diabetes because of that? Yes, she believes it. What is it in her? And I was going to say something to you when you were telling me about that, but I didn't. I was going to talk to you about letting other people create upon you. You get to decide what you create in you. But if you take a expert's word or opinion or advice or whatever, then you allow them to create upon you. You take it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I had a
Yeah.
doctor tell me once that I was going to be on this particular medication for Graves' disease, hyperthyroidism. He was like, "You'll be on this the rest of your life." And I literally, I wasn't even spiritual. I was a Christian, but I believed in healing because I'd healed myself of endometriosis. But I put up my hand and I said, "Oh no, doctor," like a brick wall. It hit the wall. I said, "Oh no, that's where you're wrong. You watch. God's going to use this medicine to heal me," and He did. So 10 years later, I don't have this incurable disease, right? So I didn't let Him create upon me,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
But anyway, she believes it. What is it in her that needs to change in order to not be that way and take on health issues as a result of things from her environment? She has to turn her ears inside out and put her ears on the inside of her head.
Put the ears on the inside of my head.
What does that look like for her to make that happen? There is a part of her brain that is so much like a sponge and so insulating that part will help. It's a matter of turning off the other voices coming from both people with good intentions and systems with no good intentions. And then I said, what is the system voice that does not have good intentions? That is a course that the media, including written media as well, and traditional Western medicine. And so this chorus
Mm.
of voices is loud and dominant in her life. And it's the same song over and over and over again of your body's larger. And so that's the natural progression, but it's not for her. They have told her all along a big body is not healthy, and she believes it. What is the truth?
Dang.
What is the truth? Her body is very healthy and functions wonderfully. The truth is that energies from other things around her, not just people, do affect her body and make her feel like something is amiss. What are some of these other energies that are affecting her? Electronics, electricity, batteries. Can she do anything to protect herself against those things? Leaving the city will help. So leaving city living will help. Living in a place more surrounded with nature as opposed to other houses and other buildings. Turn off the TV.
Wow.
Is that going to be a hard one for her? Yes, she loves TV and always has. She's a sensitive one. It offers escape. Where can she find escape then? Nature, outside. What else? Meditation. That's a great escape, isn't it? Yes, it's good for her. She doesn't think she can do it because of her very busy brain. Is that true? No, she just needs practice. She can break through it. You remember all this?
A little bit. It's like, a whisper of a memory.
Ah. What does it look like to be compassionate to herself? She doesn't need to hurt herself with food. She doesn't need to hurt herself with
Wow.
thought. She doesn't need to hurt herself. And I took that one and went, right? Remember we were talking, I got really sad the other day because of what someone who was supposed to be a
Mhm.
friend did to me. And I
Mhm.
just told you I just took everything of junk and candy and everything and I just ate it and I went, I'm an emotional eater. So then of course I went, I'm bad. I'm an emotional eater. Right. So
Yeah.
it's hurting myself with food. Then I hurt myself with my thoughts. So I was just like, oh, that got me right there too. She becomes so much more gentle and consistently kind when she's compassionate to herself. It will soften her in the way she wants to be. Let me keep going down here. you're supposed to move out of that city and go to more nature in 2024, just you and
Oh,
your daughter. It'll be even more beneficial and important for your daughter than you.
mm, okay.
How's
That
Western
makes
medicine affecting her? The physicians that she deals with mostly think a bigger body cannot possibly be healthy on its face. They want her to have a smaller body because they were taught, and it's not their fault, it's what they were taught, that this is what is required to have good health. And so she fights them in her mind. She knows in her heart it's not true, but she fights them in her mind. Does she carry shame or guilt as a result of the way they've made her feel? Yes. But not the physicians. That's the media input that has made her feel so bad about how she looks. That started because she's been consuming media for so long. It started so early in her life that it's like part of the family culture to be critical of one's physical body. Is that intentional on the media's part? Oh, absolutely. Why? It makes them money.
dang.
Why do you think they call it programs? TV programs. That's why I cut the TV. I threw our TV our I threw threw the TVs out. We didn't have any TVs in for a long time, and then and of course I cut the cable. Then we have never. Oh gosh, I think my daughter was maybe 3. We haven't had cable or anything like that. My sons, I mean, they were like maybe 6 and 9 or something like that. Now my daughter's got a, what do you call it, Fire Stick or whatever, because she's
Yeah,
15. I can't tell her anything because she knows everything.
right.
Um, but we have a TV so we can do family movie night. But that's it. Like we have no cable. And my boys, like we don't sit around and watch TV. Anyway, that was like the best thing ever. I told you,
Yeah.
you tell me what's going on in the world right now. I'd go, oh, I did not know that. Had no idea. I have so much more peace in my life. But um, turn off the TV. Can she stop feeding the beast? In a way, yes. But the foundation was laid long ago. She compares herself so much. And then your higher self gave you some healing for that. Did a couple DNA upgrades that are going to have
Ooh.
massive healing. And you talked about the back, all that stuff. So I'm going to go past here because you can listen to all that. Is there anything she's holding back? She should be communicating. And if so, to whom? It would be good for her to express her gratitude to her parents. There's a very sticky emotional place there. And because there's a lot of pain and trauma with communication and her communication being rejected or devalued, makes her hesitant and shy and thereby unwilling. It's a fear of rejection. And then I addressed the fear of rejection and had that. Where is it being held? Let's pull it. We did all that. Um, does her body want Kathy to reduce her weight? Yes and no. Body functions better when it's bigger, talking about the internal organs and systems that keep the body alive and running, like her to be in a bigger body, but not as big as it is right now, smaller than now. But the numbers that the doctors suggest are not right for her. They're not what is required for this body. What can she do to get her body there? It's holding the weight of others, and which is talked about previously, holding, and it's making her body bigger. So as she learns and practices discharging that energy and releasing it from her body, then her body doesn't have to be as big. There's less to hold. So I asked about shielding yourself
Mm,
and about how to get rid of foreign energy. I don't know if I specifically asked about the foreign energy, but I heard loud and clear. I need to teach you how to clear people's energy out of your space too. But and you're supposed to make visual representations of this because it'll help you remember to do these things.
mhm.
So I'm gonna actually send you, I already did in the intro email, but you may not have checked it out. I'm going to send you a link to I think it's 12-minute video that I have called the 4 must-dos every day.
Okay.
And it's 4 things. It's the shielding, it's the grounding, it's like all these things. Must do's every day. And I get that from sitting in this chair. Like I hear those things in addition to training from Boulder Psychic Institute and other places, right? But
Mhm.
if you do these things, so one thing you can do is to remind yourself to shield yourself, like is because you're supposed to make a visual representation of it. I
Okay.
think it'd probably be good for you to make a visual representation of the ears being inside out. I think that would be good for
Mm,
you,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
So somehow, if it's a drawing or take some putty or whatever it is, make some visual representation of some ears somehow, some way, and to remind yourself to have your ears inside out. You're hearing
Ears.
from inside of you, your higher self, the voices inside of you, and not this garbage coming at you all the time
Yeah.
from other people, media, whatever, anybody else, neighbors who want to yell at you, anything like that. If you have your
Mhm.
ears inside out, you can't hear that because all you hear is nothing out here. It just like the Charlie Brown, wah, wah, wah,
Totally.
right?
Charlie Brown's teacher. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you don't hear it. You just hear what's inside of you. Oh, I'm love and light, as that lady's like shaking her finger and yelling at you. Oh, I'm love and light. Yeah, I mean, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean.
Totally.
I would make a representation of that. And then for the shielding, when shielding yourself, I told someone else because about teaching their child how to shield themselves. I said, get like a like a doll, like a China doll or just some kind of doll, and wrap it in bubble wrap and set
Oh,
it next to his bed. So when he wakes
okay.
up in the morning, he sees this bubble wrap next to his bed. So it reminds him before he even gets out of bed, oh, got to shield myself like that little baby. Right. So these things actually, like you want to do it actually even before you get up. Like you don't let your feet hit the floor until you do these things. So maybe even just like keep your list. Maybe you draw a picture of each one or have your bubble guy or whatever. And maybe on your list you add turn my ears inside out. So that would be
Mm,
something you'd
ears
want to
inside
add
out.
to your list.
Okay.
Right. I need to remember to turn my ears inside out today. So I go through the day with my ears inside out. And then ask your guides and higher self, help me remember to keep my ears inside out.
Okay.
Like if I forget, like sound an alarm in my head or something
Mhm.
like that to be
Mhm.
like, warning, warning, there's a breach, something like
Yeah.
that. Your your ears aren't inside
Totally.
out right now, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's just making a choice to change your life, right? Like that's a lifestyle choice. I mean, you got to turn off the TV, you got to shut out those voices,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Totally.
Because it's hard to hear the voice of truth. That's so funny. Here's a song from Johnny on the Spot. It's a Christian song.
Uh-huh.
The song came in my mind before I could even get the thought out in my mind.
That's
The
funny.
voice of truth tells me a different story. The voice of truth says, do not be afraid. The voice of truth says, this is for my glory. Out of all the voices calling out to me, I will choose to listen and believe the voice of truth. Right? So it's called The Voice of Truth, I think is the name of the song. Imagine that. It's a really awesome song, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a really awesome song. Maybe even listen to that one. Even though it's a Christian, it's really good. And it's talking about, the waves where Jesus was standing, we're talking to him loudly. But the voice of truth came and said, do not be afraid.
Mm.
Right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Or was it about the guys on the wave in the boat? And then the voice of truth of Jesus said, do not be afraid, or something like as a few
Like that.
examples. So I love that song though. But thank you, Johnny. You're the best. My guy, Johnny on the Spot, my
Yeah.
DJ. Um, because I think I might have talked about that off the recording. So people are probably, what's she
Yes.
talking about? He's always giving me songs. Okay. Um, what else did I highlight? Allergies. We did the whole allergy thing. You're going to read about that.
Okay.
So over the next couple weeks, you're going to have the healing really integrate. So you're going to have more healing integrate. So you want to drink lots of water. You want to
Okay.
get lots of good sleep.
Yeah.
You want to tone down you definitely don't want the TV on.
Okay.
Okay. You definitely don't while you're integrating all this because you don't want to have any other voices. But you're like you just had surgery. Okay. So treat it
Mm.
literally like any other surgery. You just had psychic surgery.
Yeah.
And so that's how you want to treat it. And so you're in recovery right now. So your higher self said you're in recovery for 2 weeks, actually.
Okay.
So you need to just be gentle on yourself for the next couple weeks. Don't be around negativity as much as possible. So, like if your parents, I mean, I understand you have to take care of your parents and stuff, but if they
Yeah.
start throwing any dark energy at you or anything like that, I mean, you're going to be shielding yourself now, so you're going to be more protected, right? But
Yeah.
you just want to be really cautious and careful to just walk away from that and don't participate in it while you're in recovery,
Okay.
right? Because it's going to affect you more while you're recovering, while you're integrating, than it
Mhm.
would at another time.
That makes
Because there's
sense.
all these changes in your DNA and everything that's happening right now.
Right. Right.
And so you can read through this and listen to the recording about your higher self talking about what it is that's happening over the next couple weeks. But there were a couple of different things. Um, Downloaded Creator's definition of abundance into you. It will take a couple of weeks. The pink light is helping now and making its way down. It was like kind of blocked a little bit. You had some blockage in your pelvis. That's been removed, but it's going to continue to be removed over the next couple of weeks. So that's what
Okay.
it was. So abundance, restless leg syndrome, that's partly your mom's. That was sent away. Um, Let me see. What else did I highlight? Okay. Does she shield herself daily? No. Does she need to? Yes, I keep telling her. Should I share with her how to do that once we're done? Yes, and tell her to write it down somewhere, like a visual reminder to do that. Visual reminders are very helpful to her. She takes it in so much through her eyes. So maybe some sort of visual reminder, because you're going to have 5 things, because turning your ears inside out. Maybe there's some sort of, you
I
know
have a
what?
stack of Post-its right here.
Well, either that or yeah, or something like making a giant number 5 or something and putting it next to your bed. Or even
Okay.
like Hobby Lobby at their craft part has like these big, like this size giant like cardboard numbers. I think they're pretty cheap. They're
Okay.
cardboard numbers and letters. You could even get one of those and maybe even like artistically like paint it and then maybe artistically draw your number 1, turn my ears inside out, or put a picture of an ear. Or number
Okay.
2, shield myself, put a picture of some sort of like shield, like Captain America shield or something like on the number or something. I mean, I don't know. Just be
Yeah, yeah,
fun
I
with
get
it,
what you're
creative,
saying.
right?
Yeah.
Because while you're doing that little crafty exercise, just be like, and I'm open to any other messages you have for me while I do this higher self. You'll probably just get all kinds of stuff coming into you while you're doing this because you're going to be in that open, like meditative, active meditation state while you're doing that because you're going to
Okay.
be in the present moment, focused on that, and your mind's going to be open, right? I'm just saying, if you want to take it that far, that'd be super fun,
Yeah.
and it'd be a great
Yeah.
reminder, right? And you can even have, if you, oh, you are supposed to be teaching your daughter this stuff too, by the way. So you could even get one for you and your daughter, and you both decorate your own or something, so she can remember. But she's shielded now. It was waywards, just doing all this stuff to her. So she, and you'll read all about that. So she, it was part of a contract. She agreed to help these waywards, but she did it to her detriment. So she's got to learn how to not let them hurt her in exchange for her helping. She
Okay.
can learn how to send waywards to the light. She doesn't have to let them like into her light and into her space. But she's shielded now from this until she learns how to shield herself. But you're supposed to share with her because she's actually way more open than you even. Like these young ones, they're passing us. So what we're doing at our age, they're doing at half of our age,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
We
sucks for
joke that
us,
she
but
was born 35 years old,
yeah, yeah,
that she
yeah.
turned 40 when she was 11.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell these 21-year-olds that call me 19-year-olds, and I'm like, to have been in the place where you are calling me at
Mhm.
21, like, are you kidding? My life would be so different right now. Like,
Mhm.
my life would have been totally different.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine how amazing that would have been,
Yep.
but it is
Same.
what it is. Right. I know
Yep.
you can relate. Okay, so but make a visual reminder, write it down. Okay, so
Okay.
you need to make a visual reminder and teach your daughter, and she needs to learn how to shield herself. So this video will be amazing for her too,
Okay.
because if you make the number 5 and put your 5 thing, because turning her ears inside out is going to be just as important for her because you probably trained her being in a house with the TV on all the time and things like
Yeah.
that, and that
Mhm.
impacts her too. So the advice that you got is going to be the same for her. Teach her to turn her ears inside out. I'm going to keep using that, by the way. Like, 'cause your higher self gave me a new thing to use.
That is a wild image, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm probably gonna make a
Wow.
TikTok out of that one too, but
Wow.
that was
Okay.
amazing. Um, okay. Let's see. Healed the trauma from your ex-husband. There was lots of it. Cut the cords, put a shield around you so he can't attach any more cords. But in that um, YouTube video I have on my website, you're gonna learn how to shield yourself and cut cords every day anyway. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, your higher self set a new intention for yourselves. That was so cool. Um, pulled out cellular memories that weren't needed there anymore. And then it left you looking like Swiss
Oh, I
cheese.
remember that. I remember the cheese. I
And
could
so
like see
she's
it. I have a visual memory of the cheese.
and
That's
so she's
hilarious.
holy, and I'm thinking, oh no, right? I would have filled those holes with golden and white
Oh
light.
my God, that's funny.
Yeah.
I was told by a channeler a number of years ago that I have had more lives in spiritual service than she could count. That I had been a nun and a monk and a priest more times than she could count. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
um, that she's
You can tell your
holy
higher
is
self is old,
hilarious.
right?
I'm sorry,
That's
say that
funny.
again.
That's funny. Yeah, and that's why I was like thinking in my head. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to try the sense of humor thing again. But it was like, oh, she's
Um,
holy.
she's
No,
holy,
I
and she's holy.
holy, holy Kathy.
Oh my God.
um, no, I don't know what I was gonna say. Fill them with golden light. Um, I like the tool thing because I have a Patreon channel and I made a video on there, a teaching video about my guides, kind of giving me the one night when I was feeling sorry for myself about my dad and his rejection, and they were showing me a
Mm,
tool belt that you have a
mm,
tool belt and not every single spot has a tool in it. But you were given every single tool you needed for what you need to accomplish in this lifetime. And you weren't given the tool, the pliers of the dad being there and going to all the daddy daughter events and being there for you and, showing you all this, ideal that you have about the ideal dad, what that looks like. You weren't given that because you didn't need that for this life. You were actually given the opposite because that was the tool you needed to not have in your tool belt in order to push you to where you needed to be. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Sometimes they talk to me militaristically, and I like
uh-huh.
that.
Okay.
That's kind of my style. I like it blunt, right?
Mhm.
I try to be very gentle in my sessions and everything. My true nature is very blunt and very direct. And so I like being talked to like that by my guides, as long as I know it's in love, right?
Yeah.
Not a neighbor coming over and talking to me like that, like you had happen, right?
Right.
Don't talk to me like
Right.
that if you don't love me and know me, right? But my guides do. And so they can talk to me blunt. And they asked permission first if they could be blunt with me. And I said, yeah, please. So they told me that. So I thought it was awesome when your higher self said, um, because in between lives, you talked about getting tools for the next life. Do you remember that
Mm.
part? In
Mm.
between lives, you talked about getting the tools. You were downloaded with your assignment, and then you got all the tools you needed for that life. And I was like, oh, that's what
Okay.
my guys were telling me. Does she
Wow.
have all the tools she needs for this life, or is she missing some? She has them all. If she would look at them, it'd be helpful. This is part of the rejection stuff. So when she was 8 and we showed her the gifts that she has, and she said no, you rejected them, and that's why you got allergies.
Damn.
Uh-huh. Those are the tools we are talking about that she was unwilling to look at. She is much more willing as of late, but the tools were not, the environment she was in, especially with the ex, were not conducive to her using her full set of tools. Had she used her full set of tools, there would have been more rejection and violence from the husband because you would have been given a big billy club. You would have hit him over the head with it.
Would have.
Right. Right. It's like
Dang.
the aluminum bat I keep next to my bed.
When I was
Right.
8, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a man standing at the foot of my bed and he was
It was your
wearing,
guides.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
yeah, he was wearing like overalls with a little t-shirt underneath and a straw hat and he had a very kind face and it scared the shit out of me. And I ran and told my mom and she said, "That sounds like Uncle Bill." And so I've always called him Uncle Bill. And, but yeah, that was the 8-year-old event of Uncle Bill at the foot of my bed and me going, "Oh, no. Oh, no."
Yeah, you rejected it.
I did.
Huh? You never told me
Um,
this before the session, so I had no way of knowing this. That's funny. I mean, that's crazy.
I'm
So
totally
you
okay with it.
rejected it. And when you rejected it, that's when you got the allergies because of that rejection.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Like, you
Wow.
could never guess this stuff and how it's so related when it seems so unrelated. Like, right? Right? It's trippy. It's super trippy. So what can she do to get those tools now? Can you download them now? I was like, can you just download them now? You know, I was just kind of like, well, let me throw it out there and ask, right? If you don't
Yeah.
ask, the answer is no, right?
Yeah.
And then your higher self was like, yes. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Remember, I said she needs to turn her ears to the inside. That's part of it. She can do it. She has the tools. She
Oh,
has them now. Now they're all uncovered.
and my ears inside out.
Because the tools are
Dang.
downloaded in you now. So now you have them. So you gotta get it. If you have your ears inside out, you'll be able to hear them.
Hmm.
You'll be able to hear what they are, see what they are. Um, oh, you're supposed to write letters to your parents.
Oh,
I said, are there things that she needs to say to her parents so she does not regret it after they're gone? Oh, yes. I want her to write letters, put pen to paper. This level of communication will be easier for them to receive. Part of what she should express is her gratitude. Yes. This will be healing for all of them, right? All of them across many timelines.
oh, dang. Okay. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What can she do to be more in the present moment and not be in the future fearing it? Because your higher self said you fear it. The meditation and the discharge of others' energy. There's so much of other people's stuff. It gets so convoluted. As she discharges their and her own energy, it will make for more space.
Hmm.
And I said, I wrote in parentheses, Tracy, show her how to discharge foreign energy. But that's in my video, so I don't need to
Okay.
repeat all that here. And it's
Yeah, yeah.
explained so nicely there. And then you can just keep rewatching it.
Okay.
Um, waywards from your daughter protected
Wow.
her.
That's a trip.
It's part of the child soul contract. Is that hard for? Oh, her mother's job is to let her be and let her learn. Is that hard for Kathy? Oh, yes. She empathizes so deeply that it's literally painful for her.
Hmm.
Is mental illness a thing that's affecting her daughter? Mental illness is not related to that. She has the funny brain and DNA like her mother does. And so that part of expecting human behavior from not altogether humans, that's what it is. It's not really mental illness. No, not in the sense of the definitions that are accepted in the culture. But she is shielded and protected until she learns how to protect herself.
Wow. Wow.
Is there any other healing for her daughter right now? Her daughter has subconsciously observed her mother trying to relieve her parents' physical illness by taking their illnesses into her own body. So you'll read all about that. And so
Yeah.
she has begun to also do that. And she's accumulated a lot of her mother's beliefs in her pelvis, like her mom does as well. Kathy's healing will heal the child. And then I said, can she share this session with her daughter so she can learn about it too? She is ready and willing to learn this. Her daughter is on a much faster timeline than she is. What her daughter's doing now, her mother was twice that age.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, it was the hurt part. It was the child part of you that's hurt from your dad not telling you that he loves you because mom did, but dad didn't. So that child was fragmented and frozen in time, wanting that verbal validation of I love you. So we had your higher self heal that child and then put that red ruby into
Ruby.
your heart, into
Wow.
4-year-old Kathy.
That just makes a ton of sense.
And then a baby in the womb healing. Yes, it will bring lightness to her life. She's a dense and heavy person. Of course she is. We needed her to be this way. Lightness will help the light travel further. Lightness brings the ability for her to act and feel how she really wants to feel, loving, kind, and generous. She is already those things, but she confuses and conflates her dense energy, which is very ancient. She equates it to heaviness and seriousness. And so bringing the lighter energies in will feel weird for her at first and foreign and not like herself. but it really is. It's completely herself. She might try to reject it because it feels so different. I said, it's more like
Wow.
a childlike, playful energy. Yes, playful. Yes. Be
Wow.
more playful, not so
Okay.
serious.
I'll try. I'm not sure I know how. I guess I'm gonna learn.
Yeah, I was given a double dose of that, so I should probably share some. I'm just goofy.
Wow.
Okay, can you put a bubble? Oh, surrounded you with a big bubble of peace, light, patience, gentleness, unconditional love as you go through this time with your parents, and then your parents
Lovely.
got it. Um, her father's bubble is purple, and her mother's bubble is white. So I was thinking,
What
I
does that mean?
highlighted it because oh, the bubble around them.
Well, no, I mean like the
That's
colors. Are the colors significant?
well, no, I mean, just no, just I said, what does it look like? Oh, her father's
Okay.
bubble's purple and her mother's bubble's white. So I highlighted it because I thought, oh, maybe she wants to buy dad a purple crystal, like one of those
Oh,
like heart-shaped purple crystals or something to keep by his side
yeah.
of the bed or whatever, or under his
Okay.
pillow.
Yeah.
I have magic rocks under my pillow. I have magic rocks all over. But anyway, you could put one of those under his pillow or by his bed or whatever, and then mom's would be a quartz crystal because it's white,
Because it's white.
or selenite because it's I
Wow.
guess white is selenite, but whatever's white.
Yeah.
Quartz
Yeah.
versus clear, but
Okay.
if you wanted to, I just highlighted it just in case you wanted to do
Yeah.
that. You'd
Hmm.
want smaller ones if you put it under their pillow.
Yeah. I might like hide it between their mattresses
Ooh, yeah, that's a
and
good
just
one.
not tell them that it's there.
Right, right, right.
Stick it in there.
You got patience downloaded into you, and it was like, oh yeah, that would benefit her. And then you got gentleness downloaded into you. Oh yeah, that would benefit her. Anything else? We're here with you. You're never alone. You do a good job of asking for our help. Keep asking. Always ask. And then you'll be able to hear and read about your part-time job. That's just another planet that you go to, and you can actually just it'd be good for you to visit it consciously in your
Mhm.
meditation, so you can know what it feels like because you like the feeling of the water there and the stones. They're soothing and calming,
Okay.
and that's why you go there because it contrasts the painful energy, the painful physical body here compared to the smoothness and everything of how it is on that planet. But that's not your home planet.
Wow.
So then we talked about your home planet. Um,
Wow.
yeah, that was your session. We
Oh my
think,
God. It's fascinating.
isn't it? This stuff is really
Yeah.
cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
It's super cool.
super cool.
Hypnosis is amazing. It really
I
is.
meant to ask your higher self and I forgot because I didn't have it on my list. So I forgot to ask, should she do this again? Should she do something else? If you feel like, because you're gonna have your ears inside out. If you feel
Yeah.
like it, you contact me if and when you're ready. It won't be tomorrow. It won't be,
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
have gaps in time in
Give me a
between, right?
couple of
Because
weeks to
you
work it
got, yeah,
out.
right. And miss impatience, right?
Yeah, right?
You got to have time to do your homework, right? Because then you're going to come back and be like, okay, where's my second helping? Like more homework.
Yeah.
You're going to get more, and you'll get a progress report too, though,
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
So you'll get a progress report on is she doing enough in this area? Is she releasing those foreign energies? Is there anything more she needs to do? Well, she's doing a good job, but she needs to blah 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 blah. Right?
Okay.
You'll
Yeah.
get a progress report and then you'll get more assignments. And then we have more questions. Like I said, we can just keep going and make it real therapy because there's
Yeah.
all kinds of layers, all
Oh,
kinds
yeah.
of trees in that forest.
Sure. For
So,
sure.
but it's up to you. It's totally up to you.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm gonna put the name. I'm gonna put the name at the top of the video. Watch Tracy's YouTube video. You got to go under, you got to click on videos because
Okay.
it was a live that I did because I didn't know how to upload a video. I just clicked live. So it's all confusing out there.
Gotcha.
To watch the 4 must do's every day. Okay. Any other impressions, comments,
No,
anything
that
like
was
that?
wonderful. I'm a little overwhelmed and in a good way, and deeply appreciative of your time and expertise, Tracy. Thank you so much. You're so compassionate, and thank you. I really,
Oh,
my
thank you.
my heart
I
to
have so
you.
much fun doing this. I love
I
this.
can tell, and that is really a wonderful part too. Thank you for bringing your energy, your joyful energy to it. It was
Yep,
really
I
great.
get so energized doing these things. I had a really great session right before New Year's. And while I was doing this session, my guides are like, "Guess what? You're gonna go downtown. As soon as you're done, you're gonna go downtown, you're gonna go ice skating by
Oh my God.
yourself." And I was like, "Okay, I love ice skating. Yes." They're like, "You're gonna do it today." I'm like, "Okay." I skated for 2.5 hours because
Oh my
I didn't
gosh.
even get off the ice once. I had they made us to shave the ice or what. But 2.5 hours of skate time, and I was like, I could have kept going probably, and I was just like, because I had so much energy, because this just
Yeah.
energizes me so much, and I was just like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. Put my earbuds in, cranking my 70s music, like, eh.
That's awesome. That's great.
Anyway, so yeah, good night. I hope you have a great night. I'm going to
Thank
stop the
you.
recording. Thank everyone for watching.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Thank everyone for watching. Thank you for sharing this, because this was amazing, and people are going to get so much out of this, especially everyone's going to be turning their ears inside out, hopefully,
Inside
right?
out.
We're going to have all these people walking around with these funky looking ears now. um, but anyway, thank you for letting us put this on social media, because this was amazing. And I'll end it here and thank everyone for watching this session.
Thank you.